Hi everyone, I've got Ian Andrew from the BPCA on the phone. We're talking about what's happening with the BPCA this year and a few things coronavirus related. Hope you're having a good October. Enjoy.
Hello, Ian Andrew.
Hello Ian, it's Sam from Lodi.
Hello, Sam. How are you?
Very good, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hopefully the recording will go well this time. No, take two, but you're here now, so that's fine. What's the day like over there? It's quite sunny here.
Oh, lucky you. Wet and windy and chilly here in East Yorkshire.
That's what happens when you live up the north, isn't it?
It's always cold and wet and windy up north.
Yeah, we're down in the Midlands actually. So in the not too distant future, I've been asked about what's going to happen with Pest this year.
Yeah, so Pest due next March. As you know, Pest, which is the NPTA's one, it was due in November and they cancelled that a few months ago. Absolutely the right thing to do. Pest next March, 17th and 18th of March. We're planning at the moment that it will still go ahead, but obviously government advice is changing regularly. So the Excel, where it's due to be held, they were going to have events starting on the 1st of October. They've now postponed a lot of their events through until November, and it's not clear what's going to happen. So we're focusing on Pest. Yeah, we're behaving as if it's still going to go ahead because clearly it's a major exhibition. Equally, we've got a plan B and we've got a plan C, and we're working on plan B and plan C just in case. So it sort of triples the workload. And in Pest it's an international exhibition. Many of the exhibitors come from Europe and beyond, and many of the people attending come from Europe and beyond. I was in touch with somebody in India just yesterday who was planning on coming over. But there's a lot of nervousness. What happens if there's quarantine restrictions on travel? What happens if there's a spike in COVID in London in the months, weeks, or even days before? So there's just so many uncertainties.
No, it's just the way it is, isn't it? I mean, pest controllers in general are adapting quite well. A lot of them are going online to watch digital webinars and training. We've also noticed an uptick in people going online and looking for content. I think pest controllers can handle this year, but it's just a bit of a shame really if it doesn't go ahead, isn't it? But we'll see.
It will be a real shame,
yeah,
because it's the networking that people enjoy. People like meeting up with folk that they know. We're looking at a lot of different software packages to see what we could possibly replicate digitally. There's a lot of unknowns, and I think that's a challenge for us all at the moment, is there are just so many things we just don't know the answer to. And it's that ambiguity that we sometimes struggle with.
All I've heard so far is that obviously Pest was cancelled in November, as you said, and then Parisi Tech in Paris, which I'm sure you normally attend. That's not happening in November, I believe it is. It doesn't look like any events are going ahead. I haven't heard of anyone doing much training in person. I know you mainly do yours online, don't you, at the moment, at the BPCA?
Yeah, significant shift in training. We have run a couple of pest control level 2 physical training courses. So we did one in July. We did another one last week, and I think we've got another 2 or 3 scheduled for November, December time, which is great. But yeah, we've spent a lot of time and effort in developing stuff so it can be done digitally. So a lot of what would normally have been a normal one-day classroom courses, we've developed a whole suite now of digital courses. So instead of driving to Derby or wherever to sit in the classroom, you join the group in front of your laptop. And they've been really very popular. As you mentioned earlier, the webinars have been very well received. and the digital forums. We're now arranging Digital Forum 5 in October, and we've had between 200 and 400 people coming.
Not doing much over lockdown then. Did you get to go away over the summer?
No, I haven't. I'm lucky living where I do in Beverley in East Yorkshire. I'm just 20 minutes from the Yorkshire coast and half an hour up to the North Yorkshire moors. So I've got plenty to keep me going here. I'm a great walker. I enjoy walking. So I've been on lots of new walks that I'd never done before, and there's still a lot more to do. So no, haven't been away. I was due to go up to Scotland in a few weeks' time, but of course the regulations up in Scotland is that households, you can't now have more than one household inside. So I could have gone up and met all my family, but I would have had to meet them outside.
Right.
I couldn't meet them inside. So yeah, so that plan has unfortunately had to be changed.
But you like a bit of a hike then, do you? Or is it mainly countryside walking that you get into?
Yeah, mainly countryside. Yeah, so done a few long distance walks over the years. Walked Hadrian's Wall, which was great.
Just making sure that no one was coming across the border.
Yeah, absolutely. Just checking it out, make sure it was still doing its job. Yeah.
What is it, 1 foot high in most places?
Yeah, a lot of it. But it is remarkable. You can follow the line of it very, very easily.
Really?
Absolutely. And it's still intact after nearly 2,000 years. So it was well built.
Yeah, it's the UK's version of the Great Wall, isn't it?
Not quite the same scale.
I went away to Wales. I had a quick one to Cardigan Bay, which was nice down there. Actually, didn't make it to Scotland. I did tell you before I was planning to do a road trip up there. I was hoping for a week and getting up to the Isle of Skye in a camper van. But it was just when end of August came, and you'll remember, I'm sure up north it was worse. The heavy rain came at the end of August. And what was a beautiful July and looking like a good whole summer just suddenly collapsed in front of me. And so all my holiday books suddenly resulted in me trying to find somewhere that was close by, at least. And Wales is a bit closer, really, just to drive for a few days. And I did actually get a few days of sun, which was nice. I even got in the sea. And the Irish Sea is a bit cold. I don't know if you've swum in it.
Yeah, I've holidayed several times in Wales, down at St David's and
Pembrokeshire.
And up on the North Wales coast as well over the years when the kids were young. It's great country. Some great scenery, some great beaches. And the great thing about Wales, often not very busy.
No, I found that actually, like as opposed to Cornwall, if you go to Wales, it's relatively empty, just locals, isn't it? And even Aberystwyth was quite quiet really when I was there. But if that was Devon or Cornwall, it would be chocker, wouldn't it? So what's your Friday looking like? This is a 10:30 call, so I'm just about onto my second coffee. I've been up since I think it was 6:30 this morning. You can probably tell it in my voice, to be honest. What about you? Have you got a busy Friday?
Yeah, my first our professionalism working group, which is looking at what qualifications and what training the sector needs to future-proof it. So that group met at 8:30 this morning on Zoom.
How is the future of professional training looking in pest control then?
There's several things we're looking at. We're looking at how can we better improve how people coming into the sector are really inducted and onboarded, and looking at gathering a template of what a good induction to the sector looks like, and all the resources that are needed for businesses who are inducting new people, and something that fits both for small businesses and is workable for the big boys as well. So that's progressing well. We're looking at whether we can develop a standardised graduate programme for the sector, so that if encouraging the sector to recruit graduates, but also looking at, so what would a graduate programme look like, what resources might be needed or activities might be needed to support that. The third and the biggest element is, if we had a blank piece of paper, what would our qualifications look like that suits the needs of the sector? We don't have a level 1 qualification. We've got 2 level 2s. The safe use of rodenticides is a level 2 award, and the general pest control is a level 2 award, but they're significantly different.
Right.
But then with no level 3, with no level 4, well, they are there, but nobody uses them. There's level 3 qualification, but nobody uses them. Why does nobody use them? So if we were to have a blank piece of paper, what would the qualifications look like? And how would we assess them? I mean, I did the level 2 general pest control. Is that a 3-hour written exam? Is that the best way of assessing whether somebody's a good pest controller? I'm not sure it is, because I've passed the qualification, but if you've got a pest problem, don't phone me, because I wouldn't know what to do. Insecticide to do that wash job. So, I mean, some big questions to go forward. I don't know what the answer is, but we need to be ready. We did a great job with Crew on rodenticides. We've, as you say, nothing in place yet for insecticides, although some distributors have got some checks and balances in place. But I'd rather, as a sector, we've stepped up our game before there's some tragic event with an insecticide, and we're made to step up.
Right. But it's a very hot topic in the industry, and it's good to hear where you think it's going, to be honest. I mean, you of all will have the best overview, also being on European boards and not just in the UK.
No, absolutely. And professionalism is the European discussion. CEPA, I worked on the CEPA working group that has now come up with a definition of professionalism for Europe, and that covers what training a professional should have, what qualifications a professional should have, what CPD they should do, and how their competence is assessed.
Right.
And so CEPA has defined what that will look like, and that definition will weave its way through the corridors of Brussels. Now, we've come out of that arena, but that same definition is something that we certainly BPCA believe is the right definition. But we need to address the wider sector, and we need to work with NPTA on that, and we need to work with those that are members of neither BPCA nor NPTA on that. And not because we want to push training, qualification, CPD, it's because we want to keep the products that we've got. We don't want to lose any more.
Oh, sure. And it's ever changing at the moment. You can see one's coming off all the time and some coming in. I'm sure if anyone went to the BPCA website, all the information is there and is also in PPC.
Absolutely. Loads of resources on there for members and for non-members.
Sure.
That's always a thing to balance. We try to represent the sector as well as the members.
Right. Well, I won't keep you any longer on a Friday morning because I know you've got a very busy day, and I was lucky to get in on this half-an-hour call. So thank you very much for joining in, and we'll speak shortly about what's going to happen with PestX in March.
Super, Sam. Enjoyed our chat. Good to speak to you. Enjoy the rest of Friday and have a great weekend when it comes.
Thanks, Ian. I will do. Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, Sam. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
The Pest Podcast by Lodi UK is all about conversation in pest control. If you'd like to get involved, then please send us an email to marketing@lodi-uk.com. Thanks.